Welcome to If I Only Had 10 Minutes. Jonathan Adashek, how are you?
I'm great, Jane. Great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
So thrilled you could be here. I know about you, and I bet a lot of people that are going to listen know about you, but some don't. So can you just tell us a tiny little snippet of who you are?
I am the Senior Vice President in charge of Marketing and Communications at IBM. I also have CSR and some public affairs work in the organization. I've been here for almost 6 years. January marks 6 years.
Okay.
Before this, I worked at Renault, Nissan Mitsubishi in Paris, and Nissan in Japan as Chief Communications Officer. Microsoft before that, Edelman before that, politics in the White House before that.
Perfect. That sounds like a perfect career. When you were at Renault, did you do F1 stuff? Were you involved in any F1 stuff?
I wasn't that involved. I do a lot more of it today than I did back then.
You do? Oh, we'll have
Yeah.
to talk separately. You don't know this. I'm a huge F1 fan. All right, let's get into the nitty gritty. I'm going to ask you a few questions, get your thoughts, and with our signature, it'll be fun.
Great.
So, what is the one communications task you would never hand over to AI?
I think for me, it's the massive decision that needs to be made.
Okay.
Will AI be a voice in the decision? Yes. But how to respond on a crisis or manage an issue, for example, I don't see myself giving that over to AI completely. There are key people I deal with on those sorts of things. Those people will still be there. I think there'll be a more focused set of people, but AI will also be providing a voice, but it's not going to get the final say in it.
Interesting. Maybe you've seen it too. We've both seen presentations, really fascinating ones, where doctors use AI to help them diagnose. Does that scare you? Scares me a little.
No, not at all.
Not at all. Why?
Because what they're doing is they're looking at the data,
Mm-hmm.
and they're getting better insights on the data if they're using a model that's set to the standards of the organization that they belong to, which I believe most hospitals, most doctors are going to be affiliated with an organization, and they're going to the Hippocratic oath that means something to them, and I think it's going to apply to where they put AI as well. And I think if they can get a better view of everything going on in a different way, I think it's great.
Cool. Comms Collective is all about fractional, so I have to ask at least one fractional question.
I love it.
How can a fractional communications person bring value that a full-time team member might not?
I think as I look at the fractional approach, I think it helps give additional insights from what's going on outside the organization. Because I think we've all been in organizations, or maybe are in organizations today, where you get stuck inside the bubble.
Yep.
And you start talking the language of the company, and you try and do that to people who are outside as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then people are like, what does that mean? I don't understand. So I think they can help bring that outside perspective. I think they can help if they're seasoned professionals, they can help bring some more leadership
Mm-hmm.
to the table that might be needed, and some of the experiences. And they can also bring some specialized skills that the team might need that you don't need to use every day, and so you don't have that on your team. But I think there's clearly a opportunity for fractional communication.
Do you think our industry is ready for it?
Yes, I think it is. I think the biggest challenge is people getting used to the fact that somebody might be there that wasn't there the day before, and you might have to take a small amount of time to get them up to speed, because I know the people that you're working with, Jane, and I'll use that as the example. There's smart people who can pick things up quickly, but people have to get comfortable that it's a new way of doing things.
Right.
Nobody really loves change.
Nobody loves change. I agree. What is the boldest move you've ever made in your career?
I think moving to Japan.
I would think.
It was an amazing opportunity. Nissan's a fabulous company, but picking up and relocating my family and going to a company that doesn't, it's not an American company, it's a Japanese company, very different cultural norms and just norms for the way the company operated. It was a big move, but I love it. And I am so glad I did it, and I got so much out of it. And, Nissan's just such a great place.
How old were your kids when you went?
4.5 and 2.
Oh, those are a great age. I mean, that's like a good age to go.
It was a great age to go, but at 5 years old, my son had a cell phone that they give to kids in Japan that only dials like 10 numbers, and you wear it around your neck, and if somebody bothers you, you pull on the cell phone and it just sets an alarm. But we would say, hey, go to soccer practice and we'll meet you. And it was like 3 or 4 blocks away. At 5 years old, I would never do that in New York.
Wow. Well, we always talk, I'm sure you do too. When I was little, I would say, bye, Mom, and I'd get on my bike, and I'd have no helmet, no cell phone. She didn't know where I was for the entire day until I came home, or maybe I called and said I'm going to eat dinner at somebody's house.
Yep.
Right? It was such a different time. And I long for it for my kids. They're old now, but I wish kids could experience that.
I do too. Part of the reason my kids go to camp every summer is to get that disconnect.
Yes.
And see what's going on in the rest of the world.
I agree. I'm a big camp person. How do you prepare? You have many high stakes moments in your life, in your career. How do you prepare? Like, do you have a thing? Do you have a superstition?
I have 4 or so things that I think about. One is I got to spend time with the relevant materials.
Right.
And I try and take lots of notes. I take a little note card, and I will write stuff down on the note card that's in those notes. And I find that I learn it better. Once I write it down that says 80% of derivative assets, I remember the 80%. If I just read it in the document, I usually don't remember it as well. So that's 1 is time with the materials, 2 is notes, 3, rehearse. And it doesn't mean you've got to be in the room and doing it, but take the time to read it and prepare and get ready. Finally, take a couple deep breaths, especially before you do it. Everything's going to be fine. Might not be perfect, but everything will be fine on the other end.
The perfect conversation is one I actually have with my kids all the time. Perfection is the enemy of the good, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's something that I think more people need to understand so that we can move things faster forward.
I agree.
Who is the best communicator you've ever seen in action?
Very easy. Bill Clinton. He was the best. He is still, I believe, the best communicator around. President Clinton made you feel like you were the only person in the room when you were talking to him. You could be a room of 100 or 1,000 people, and when you were talking to him, he made that connection and made you feel like you were the only one. I don't think I've seen anybody like him. I had the privilege to meet him a couple of times, and I will tell you, I have said the exact same thing because it's an unbelievable skill. Mm-hmm. And something I actually think you're born with. I don't think you can manufacture it. I think you're really sort of born with it. That's my own opinion. But he is talking to you and just you, and he's listening to you and just you. And it's quite incredible, actually. It's amazing. It really is.
It is amazing. All right. Last question. Oh, wait, I have another question I'm throwing in. What are your hobbies? Do you have hobbies?
I love to listen to live music. I love great food and wine and watching sports, all Wisconsin sports. I am passionate about them.
I love that. Do you find when you go to listen to music, because we go to listen to live music a lot, but we're listening to music that we, I guess, grew up with, right? So then you're like, look at all these old people, and you're like, oh, wait, that's me. I'm one of them.
I'm trying to listen to a whole bunch of stuff, but if I can go see, I'm a huge fan of the Grateful Dead. I would still go see Dead and Company, even with the change. And it's a different demographic, but I'm happily taking my daughter to Sabrina Carpenter at Madison Square Garden not too long, and this will be my second time seeing her.
That's
and
great.
I just saw Diplo a couple weeks ago, and going to see Cat Stevens or Yusuf Islam in a couple weeks too here in New York. Being in New York, it's easy to get great music.
No, that is true. That is true. See, I wouldn't have pegged you as a Deadhead either, so that's one more thing that people definitely know about you.
I used to have hair that went down to the middle of my back.
Can we see pictures?
Maybe another time. We don't have time in the 10 minutes.
We don't. All right, final question.
Yep.
What would you do with an extra 10 minutes in your day?
I'd spend it with my family. It's that simple. I
Yeah.
love the opportunity I get to spend it with them. I was gone a good chunk of the weekend this weekend. This morning, my wife, my son, my daughter, and our dog, we all crawled into the same bed and snuggled for a few minutes before the day started and the week started, and it was fantastic. And I would do that all day long if I could.
That's awesome. Jonathan, thank you for spending 10 minutes with us. Really, really appreciate it. Just everyone gets to learn a little bit more about people in these 10 minutes, so thank you.
Thanks for having me, Jane. This is great.